stop judging ourselves in categories. Some people will call themselves empaths, and some people will say they're sensitives, and and other people will say, well, they're more intuitive than other people. The bottom line truth of knowing it from a shaman is that we're all that. We do all of it. We just focus on what it is that we think we do better than other things. Or some people will use that as a crutch. I'm so empathetic that sometimes I don't know, being an empath is so hard for me. Well, you know what? You chose it. You chose to be like that. If you don't like it, then get stronger and recognize that you don't have to bellyache about it anymore. Because truly, being shaman means that you take responsibility back for what it is you truly believe in inside of yourself. You don't have to buy into your past. Saying that you're so much of an empath is the same way of saying, I was raised with a father that didn't love me. And then you will still harp on that until you're 55 years old. So you can sit there and you can say one thing or another, and it'll either sound negative, or you can turn it into, here's the other way of doing it. My father had his issues, and he lived a certain way. However, I don't see that my life needs to be like that, because I really would love to raise my son in a whole different way. Or you can say, in terms of empathic, you can say, I'm very sensitive, and I understand that people go through their issues. What makes an empath an empath? Somebody that is so sensitive to living that they find it a crutch or they find it a problem. It can turn into crisis mode for them sometimes. So how do you change that? You recognize that you can be more extensive as, if you want to use the term empath, but you can give yourself more reliable sources to hand your compassion to, rather than saying, oh, I'm feeling all this stuff. No, put it out there and say, I'm going to love that today. I'm going to put my attention over here today. It makes a difference. And then you don't have to make it all about you hurting. And so it's new. It's time to recognize what you have available within you. Anything that seemed to be a little bit out of balance or a lot out of balance, you can change it. You can totally shift it. When you accept everything to the point of saying that you have attached to certain problems, you have created that within yourself. So you are now in the attachment mode, and those problems are going to escalate. You can choose to do it that way, but most people probably wouldn't want to if they knew what they were doing. Then we can talk about detachment. Detachment is not cold. Detachment doesn't have to be cold. Detachment can be very healthy. And it can mean that what you're doing is, it's called over-caring. When you care too much about something, then you're not giving something the opportunity to grow in its own right. We are not responsible for clearing the world and taking care of everything else. We're only responsible for ourselves. So if you put too much effort on yourself in pain or anything else, you're taking too much of it. You know that you don't have to. All you have to do is know you don't have to. Detachment means that what you're doing now is you're giving back something for somebody else with compassion, without buying it. In other words, you don't have to take on other people's stresses. We learned to do that when we heard the term service. Years and years ago, the term service was a very popular religious Christian aspect. The term service is not a bad term. It's how we look at these terms that makes it detrimental to our living, whether we're going to be stressed out or whether we're going to be able to be free of feeling stress. It's all in how we look at it. If you feel that you're doing something because it's such a good thing and God will love you more if you do service, or you're going to find your passion in something that's service related. The truth is that could be, or it could also be that you need to take your power back and discover what it is that you can provide for someone or something without feeling that you're doing it for the sake or an obligation. You see, it's a whole different way of looking at service. Service itself is not bad. It's how we see it. That will make the difference as to how we're going to continue to live our lives.